is what makes this game so addicting. It's simple yet complex enough to keep you playing for hours to see if you can do it again. And the goal of the game is to get a number that's higher than what the level requires you to do, or else you lose the run. In each new run you do, it's a roguelike, meaning that each level will get more difficult as the game will throw in higher numbers for you to achieve, and will probably occasionally throw some debuffs your way. But on the bright side, at least you'll have tools to make each playthrough a little bit less painful. What makes this particular game so unique is it's all based around an old school card game called poker. You know, that game that was invented in the late 18th century. Well, the creator Balatro was like, alright, this game needs a big update, so he invented this fun ass game in the process. And if you're like me who was hesitant to pick up this game because you don't know how to play poker, well, don't worry. The beauty of this game is that it shows you how to play it. The game has a tab where it'll show you which hands are the strongest and which hands are the weakest. It even shows you pictures, so you really don't even have to read anything, which is a plus in my opinion because I'm dumb as hell. Like the first hand I've ever learned to do was a flush, which was to get all the cards with the same suits. And if you're like me who didn't know what that meant, it basically means that there's a picture on the card, and it could be like a hearts, clubs, spades, or even a diamond. And if you're worried you might forget what each suit looks like or what it's called, don't worry, the game tells you that too. So there's no confusion when you decide to pick a certain card, because sometimes, you know, the clubs and the spades look the same to me. So it's kind of nice that the game will tell you exactly what suit you have in your hand before you can even play it. After I got a hang of what the flushes look like, I moved on to straights, which are just playing cards that go in sequence. So I kept playing each different type of hands until I'm convinced myself that I can go to Las Vegas and start playing poker at the casino. Well, realistically, this is a bad idea considering that I'm still suffering from a debuff from a mirror that I broke like 2 years ago. But anyways, it's also convenient for people who have never played poker before, so the game kind of knows what hand you're trying to play, and will help double check your cards for you. So if you're ever unsure if the card is like a flush or a straight, don't worry, the game double checks it for you. Which is a cool feature to have because I don't want to keep going on that one tap to double check if I have the right cards, but it's kind of nice that the game double checks it for you. So you have a visual guide to tell you, and you have kind of like a little double checker system to ensure that you play like the best hand possible. Another useful tool for new players is this button at the bottom, which allows the player to kind of sort the cards by suits or sequential order, making it easier to find the flushes or the straights that you play so often. This makes me play the game so much faster, and I can't even imagine how this game would have ran without this feature. Like, it's that good. I can easily see flushes and straights more easily because I would just press a button and there you go. If I see the opportunity, then I play that hand. And it makes each round go by a little bit faster because I can just press the button, whoop, there it is. There's the flush I've been looking for. All the tools that this game gives you is what really helped me gain the confidence to play this game fully, despite having zero experience with poker. So once I got the hang of playing poker, now I understand why people get addicted to this, because it kind of switches up the concept of poker. Every time you finish a round, you're awarded some cash and you can go spend it to buy some randomized stuff in this store. The things you can purchase can include jokers, tarot cards, planet cards, and even spectral cards. The game introduces jokers, which are essentially power-ups or whatever perks in this game, and 9 times out of 10 they're probably worth getting because they can help you achieve those numbers that each round asks of you. And sometimes these cards have a little debuff, and if you think they're worth the risk, then you'll be rewarded handsomely. These jokers are the reason why you see those fat numbers pop up with every YouTuber out there. And in my opinion, part of the fun with like discovering the jokers is just exploring and discovering what each card does, and just, you know, kind of experimenting to see which cards will produce the highest number possible. And tarot cards are like consumables. They're either delete, improve, or change the value of something in your deck. That kind of suits whatever playstyle you want. So if you wanted your deck to have more hearts, for example, there's a card for that. And if you want to double your money just because you're broke AF, yep, there's a tarot card for that. And the only drawback is that it's a one-time use thing, but if you can find the joker that kind of makes tarot cards for every round, then it gets pretty fun to redeem every tarot card, just to see how drastically you can change your deck. There's also the planet cards, which basically just levels up many different hands that you can play. So for example, if you play flushes a lot, it might be beneficial for you to make that card stronger. It makes a card stronger by basically just increasing the points it gives you by playing that specific hands. And if you stack this with the tarot cards or the joker, you are more likely to get a higher number when the round demands a number that's probably the equivalent of the national debt of the United States. But anyways, all 3 of these cards are the main types of tools that I use to maximize the points that I earn from my deck. The only other one I haven't mentioned is the spectral cards, only because it doesn't appear so often, and I never really have enough experience to speak on them. But for me, every time I play it, it seems like a very powerful upgrade to your deck, but it comes at a huge cost. Like there's this card that lets you change all the cards in this pre-selected deck into one suit, which could be risky because if you're going for like an all club deck and it just makes a lot of copies of like a diamond, and you're kind of cooked. But there's other safe ones, like for example, you can add a seal to a card to basically give it a little power up. So it just depends on your playstyle. So if you're the kind of player that goes for like those high risk, high reward plays, then maybe you might like it. But I like to play it safe, so I tend to avoid these spectral cards because I just don't think it's worth the drawbacks. And in my opinion, where this game gets really fun is when you get to use all these tools that you're given to basically concoct this massive ass number, which is accompanied by seeing all this cool animations that you get when you rack up the points. I don't know why, but when my brain sees that fire animation on top of this box, it just scratches an itch in my soul in the right way where it makes me play this game continuously without any regret. I would literally spend countless hours just repeatedly chasing that same euphoric feeling that I had when I first managed to get that fat number and seeing that fire animation for the first time. And it only gets worse the more stuff you unlock. There's little things they do to spice up the game so you never get bored. Like for example, the deck you can use could have like a different parameter, so you can purposely make it easier or harder depending on what you like. Like there's this one deck that basically removes all the face cards, so you can probably play straights a little easier. There's one where you get a power up off the rip. So it just depends. You can really switch up the gameplay just by choosing a different deck. And what's crazy is this game still has so much to offer for me. And I haven't fully unlocked everything yet. Like this reminds me of a really old school video game where you just play the game continuously to just unlock more stuff. And I kind of like that. And you know what's crazy is that all this fun comes at the cost of $15 if you decide to buy it on like PC or the consoles. And the best part? There's no microtransactions, and I don't know if the developer is going to add any in the future, but as for now, no microtransaction, and that's what makes this game such a good deal for the value. And also, if you get it on the iPhone, which is where I have it, it's $10, which is a better deal, but possibly the worst decision you can make, because I've just explained the whole video how addicting this game can get, so play at your own risk. But for those places where you are patiently waiting for something and it feels like they're just taking their sweet ass time, then Balatro is probably the best game for you to play on your phone. Well, it's either that or you can just doom scroll on TikTok. And since my attention span is cooked already, I'll probably just stick to Balatro. But if you ask me, I think this game is definitely worth your money and your time. If you get it on the Xbox Game Pass, I think it's free for however long it is. Or if you catch this video before the end of May, it's also free in the PlayStation Store, as it's free game for the month. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Go play this game, it's kind of cool. But if you guys liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, and then I'll see you guys on the next one.